Well, these guys were just, it seemed like on their Aadhaar card, the address was top of table because they were living there, right? They were just living there for March and April. Rajasthan would just look like they would not move from there. And then suddenly May came around. And Joy, I don't know what Rahu, Ketu, Shani, Mangal happened with them in May. And it's just all red.
Yeah. And
One
just
ball.
again, and they were...
One ball.
Yeah.
Bhuvneshwar Kumar bowling to Rovman Power.
Yeah, one ball,
to get a one ball. All the debate around what if it was not out? Is that LBW law correct? Is the DRS correct? What should you do? But after that, they haven't won a game.
Yeah. Wow.
They haven't won a game, and they were so close to going to 18 points. They were already on 16, right? Or they were on 14 that day.
Correct.
Or 16.
16.
They were on 16.
They haven't won a game since then.
So if you look at that, we look at that chart again, right, that we see. And I remember about 10 games in, we were having discussions saying, oh my God, this Rajasthan team, right? So they won 1, 2, 3, so you got 7, 8, 9.
They'd won 8 by then.
So
they would have
here's
gone
the
to
thing.
18.
So their 10th game, let's say the discussion we were having on the 3rd of May, right? Or before their 7th of May game, that they lost by 20 runs.
Yes.
When we were talking before that game, they had played 10 and they'd won 8.
Yeah.
Correct? And what we were talking about is that even the 2 games they've lost have been last ball losses.
Yes.
Right?
That's
Gujarat was last ball. Or second last ball that Rashid won it, and then Hyderabad again was
Correct.
last ball.
Gujarat was that big mistake, if you remember.
4 players outside the ring.
Because they
took
were
long
late.
to bowl, right?
Correct.
And Rashid won it at that point in
And
time.
Sangakkara was mad at them because it was
Right
childish.
down to the last moment.
Exactly.
And the Hyderabad game again, right down to the last moment. So after 10 games, before the 11th, we're having a chat here saying, oh, we don't see any chinks in their armour.
Yeah.
Right? They haven't had one devastating, crushing loss. What do you think? And from then, from effectively the 7th of May to now the 20th, it's not even 2 weeks. Man, this story has changed.
And they do it every year.
Yeah, they didn't when you...
That story's not changed.
Yeah.
They won 5 straight and then won 5 out of their last 7. It's happened before. Just take a look at that.
Yeah, this is...
First, it is just something that, they win a lot of their first 8. They lose a lot of their...
Sanju used to frustrate us every year, right? We used to talk about Sanju because we all love his batting. He would start every season really well and then would just kind of taper off. And this time we said, oh, that's not happening with Sanju. After 10 games, again, not happening with Sanju. Therefore, it's not happening with the team. And then it's just...
It's as if they're saying, मैं सिर्फ 2 घंटे का exam लिखता हूँ.
Yeah.
3 घंटे का मैं नहीं लिखता.
Yeah.
2 घंटे के exam में max.
It's like what you were saying I do, right? Instead of 4 questions, answer only 3 and say मेरा 66% आ गया.
Correct. But they have to address that. And in the last game, I think Sanju said, no, we're doing something wrong.
Yeah.
And I think last night's game was desperate. They had to play that game because if they had played that game and beaten KKR in that game, they play a KKR again as 1 and 2.
Psychological
they would have played
advantage.
them.
Yes. And now what happens? They're going to play an RCB team that isn't even looking behind, that's just looking forward, full steam ahead. And all of a sudden, I wonder if there are doubts within. Their big game player, Josh Buttler, is not available to them. And they're suddenly thinking, okay, how do we manage this? So I hope someone in that RR camp is saying, let's go back to the first half of the season.
Yeah.
What did we do right? Riyan Parag, you did well. Sanju Samson, you did well. Yashasvi Jaiswal, you bat 40 balls against RCB, and that's the game done there. So they've got to have all these positive thoughts coming back. They can't think, I've fallen off the cliff, my hand is up there, koi hai wahan uthane wala.
Yeah.
They can't think like that.
You got to do it yourself.
Yeah.
Wait a minute, where are we playing? We're going to be playing at Ahmedabad.
Ahmedabad, yes.
The only plus is that what they really need is Chahal to come back to form.
Chahal, yes.
Chahal has been a huge, and this is very unlike Chahal, because he's been a sensational, he's been one of the most consistent players in the IPL. Just look at that.
Yeah. Fallen off again in the last, and I think
Absolutely.
it mirrors it, right? Him going off the boil has been Rajasthan going off the boil as well.
Absolutely.
They were so good when they started off. They had Boult and Berger bowling in the power play. They had Avesh and Sandeep Sharma back at the end. And they had Ashwin and Chahal bowling in between. And it was working perfectly for them. And somewhere there, I think they left out Buttler. They left out Berger.
Yeah.
I think he was injured.
Berger was injured. Yes.
Berger was injured. Then Chahal lost form.
Sandeep was injured then for a few games.
And that is the other key. That Sandeep Sharma was injured for a while. And
now, no Shimron. Hetmyer, it just seems
Hetmyer?
like... There was no Hetmyer.
There was
in
no
the last few
Hetmyer.
games.
He's a big part of the Royals. We talk about Jaiswal, Buttler, Samson.
Since the 7th of May, he has not played.
Oh, he is such a big part because now what they can do, if they don't like the Storm Cole or Cadmore, they're not certain on the big day, they can ask Jurel to open the batting because he's a far better player, is getting lost, and they play Rovman Powell as a batter, not as a finisher. And Hetmyer comes back and plays that role. I think that could rejuvenate them.
Imagine if we had said to you on the 30th of April that the eliminator would be played between the team that was top of the table, team that was bottom of the table.
Yes, 1st and 10th.
There was 1 in 10 at that point in time, and first people would have said, oh, you're drunk, and it could have been true as well. But 1 in 10 would play each other, and to add to that, you would say that 10 actually would have a distinct advantage in that game over 1.
Correct. Psychological advantage is all the momentum. Is with.
It's okay.
Bangalore.
Today you're allowed. You can say. Today you can say the word momentum.
It's almost like you're 0-6 in a 5-setter.
Yeah.
And suddenly Bangalore gets its first serve right, they get their volleys right, and next thing you know, they won 2 in a row. And then the 5th set, you're thinking, no, it's the guy who's won the last 2 that's going to win.
This is why I love this league. I love it. Of course, this season has been just like we spoke about the first 2 teams. And there was the openers who've kind of set the template or set the ball rolling for them. For this team, it's been the openers a little bit, like because the openers have won 3 of their games out of the 8 that they've won. But a lot of it has also been number 3 and 4. And 3 and 4 have just been fantastic this season. This is the first time that Rajasthan has had a season with 2 batters getting over 500. That is a staggering stat.
Yeah, absolutely. And the 2 batters are very rarely will you see 2 batters getting 500 when neither of them is opening. You'll rarely see it because, top 3 generally dominate. So that's one of the things that you see. And I think that's what it's the coming of age of Riyan Parag. And it was something that everyone said, you bat him at 6, no point. Everyone has been saying, bat him earlier. That's where he bats. He bats at 4, bring him to 4. They batted the whole domestic season. He's batted at 4. He scored tons of runs in first-class cricket, list A cricket, T20 cricket. Then he comes out here. Gets that 4 position, and finally he does justice to his talent.
I love it because this really is, again, for us, it's a moment of joy. It's a joyous moment to see. It's a redemption story, an IPL redemption story for Riyan Parag, who for the last few seasons.
Did you say it's a moment of joy because of what Joy said about Parag?
Actually,
no, absolutely.
But we've spoken about it a lot, saying that none of it was actually opinion. It was all fact.
There is no malice. Looking into camera and saying, on this program, there is no malice. We just have a lot of fun, no malice. This kid has gone
malice,
and
no agenda.
I just want to say, malice? Who the...
Okay.
What?
It suddenly reminds me of Jacques.
Yeah?
Callous.
Callous? But I was singing the song, na?
Malice. I know.
Who the...
Yeah. We used to sing that in KKR, exactly.
Just like that?
Just like
Callous? Who the... You can't say that to Callous, though.
He did.
And one of the greatest all-rounders in Test cricket.
And he was quite sweet about it.
That's good. That's why you say it, right? Because he's one of the greatest. But yeah, again, no malice. The fact is, Riyan Parag, great redemption story. The other redemption story I've liked is Yash Dayal, and we'll get to him now because that's the 4th team we'll talk about. We'll get to him just a second. But to just round it up quickly, 1 foreign player, 1 Indian player that you were to retain.
I mean, even under these circumstances, it's a very difficult choice. I'll go Sanju Samson because I think he's giving them something. Foreign player is really difficult, but even now for the next 3 seasons, many people have suffered because of ignoring Trent Boult. Mumbai should know. I'll go Trent Boult.
Interesting.
I'm going a player of similar vintage, but batter rather than bowler. I'll still go Josh Buttler. I'll still want Josh Buttler in my side. I'll still want Sanju Samson in my side.